Hello, my name is Mohit Mamgain, and my project is detection of traffic light signal color using blob detection versus neural network for autonomous vehicles. This is my presentation, and I'm gonna go through the outline of this presentation. We have the introduction of this project, and then we have the methodology, traffic signal light detection using blob detection methodology, and then we have the experiment, and then we have the data sets and results for that. And then the second methodology is the traffic signal light detection using neural networks. We have the experiments, and we have the data sets and results for it. Then we're going to compare, we have the comparison and conclusion, where we're going to compare both the results from the first and the second methodology, and we're going to conclude which one was better. And then I've quoted some references here. So moving on to the next slide, this is the introduction. So the scope of the project. The scope of the project here is to detect a traffic signal, whether it is red or it is green. And this detection, why traffic signal light detection is important? It's important in our project because for autonomous vehicles need to take decision and maneuver on the basis of decisions that they take, and the identification for those decisions, whether the traffic signal is red or is green, for maneuvering is really important. So this is why we need the detection of traffic signals, so that the autonomous vehicle can take decisions accordingly, whether they want to drive or want to stop or want to maneuver something or want to do something else. So the drive sequence is important, and this decision making is really important because it contributes heavily to the decision what an autonomous vehicle is going to take. The methods used here, two types of methods. First is the blob detection. Basically, what is a blob? Blob is a part of an image which in all sense have approximately similar properties. Thus, we can say that all points in the blobs are similar. For example, let's say a cloud. A cloud is a blob because all the points have similar kind of properties and they are similar. And this detection methodology, it detects the region having the digital image, and then it processes. So basically, if we detect a red signal as a blob, then we can detect a red signal or a green signal as a blob. Another methodology used here is the neural networks. We've used neural networks for the detection of the light signals. What are basically the neural networks? Neural networks are basically artificial computer networks, and then they learn to do the task by considering examples, and they are basically without a specific task programming, and they're developed as an inspiration from the biological neural networks which are present in the animal bodies, and they don't require any task-specific programming, and they're non-parametric basically, and they're composed of connected units which we know as artificial neurons, and which we studied in the classes at nodes in the neural networks, and those nodes are connected to different nodes, and then they're aligned in different multiple layers. There can be multiple layers in a neural network. So basically, that is a summary of the neural network. Who gets the benefit from this project? Autonomous vehicles for sure. Autonomous sector, as we know that there's a huge amount of investment and research and development going into the autonomous sector and the autonomous vehicle industry, and this is the upcoming technology. So hopefully this project contributes towards that sector. Our next slide here is our first methodology, that is traffic light signal detection using blob detection methodology. The first step here is in the first step, we capture the image. This is the responsibility of the camera that is mounted onto the vehicle. So the camera captures an image, and this is a raw image. This can be an image of any traffic signal that is being captured by the autonomous vehicle camera. So that image is acquired from the traffic signal. The second, the image may contain noise. Here we are considering that we've already detected with the captured image is always a traffic signal. That's the pre-consideration which we are taking here. The second step is the image may contain noise. So what we do is we pass that image through a low pass filter, which can be a Gaussian filter usually, because the noise has a property that it's mostly a high frequency noise. So we will pass it through a low pass filter so that it removes the noise from the image. The third step is we resize that image. Why we need to resize that image? Because we have a template, we have a set of images that we compare it to, and that is from a size of 128 by 128. So what we do is we need a standard size for our image. So that's why we reduce or resize the image. I might not say reduce, but I resize the image to 128 by 128. Step 4, we extract the color of the image. So now we have the image. we have it resized. Now we extract the color out of it. And this is done by when we convert the RGB image into the SHV image, HSV image, that is hue saturation value image. If the hue comes between 100 by 360 and 140 by 360, it means that the color extracted is green. And if the hue is greater than 300 by 360, that means the color detected is red. Extracted is red, sorry. And then the step 5. Step 5 is we find the region of interest. So what we do for this, we start computing the, what we've done here is we've started computing the number of rows. And then for each row, we've seen what is the energy level of each row. And then the signal, the row with the highest energy, we've marked it as R. We've denoted that row as R. And similar computation we've done for the column. And the column with highest amount of energy, we've denoted it by C. And then the center of those R and C, we've considered it as the center of our region of interest. So basically this is what we've done in step 5. And then step 6 is basically now we're going to extract that region of interest which we've already identified, and then we're going to make a decision accordingly. So this is how we do our first steps. And now this is the actual experiment which I did in the MATLAB. All my codes, everything, the software used, the platform used is MATLAB, and I've run everything. And these experiments are run in MATLAB, and these results, they yielded from MATLAB. So this is my image pipeline, which I'll explain you how I did. This is my experiment, and this is the image pipeline. So the first is the acquiring of the image. This is the original image. So now here I've acquired the image. The image acquired, it goes to the next level of the pipeline where it passes through a low pass filter. It removes noise. So this is an image with removed noise and low pass filtered. Then I resize the image to 128 by 128 pixels. And then after the resize, I'm extracting the color out of it. So we've extracted the red color out of it. And after the extraction of the red color out of the whole image, what I'm trying to do in the next step, that is step 5, is I'm trying to extract the region of interest. This is again similarly done by the highest, computing the column with the highest energy and row with the highest energy. And then after the extraction, now I make the decision in the step 6 whether this is a red signal or not. And this is correctly classified as a red signal in my experiment. Another experiment here, similar experiment for green. The first image acquired, this is actually the image what your vehicle camera is going to capture when a signal is detected. And then again, the step 2, the noise has been removed. The step 3, the image has been resized to 128 by 128 to a standard size. And then step 4, we extract the color out of it. Here we can see that the green signal is extracted, the green color is extracted. And then we try to extract the region of interest out of the color. And then after the extraction of region of interest, we make a decision that the signal is classified as green. So datasets and results. Dataset I used 50 images for this experiment for the blob detection methodology. 25 images were of red signal, 25 images were of green signal. Experiment results showed that red signal 24 out of 25 images of red signals got identified correctly, and in case of green signal, 20 out of 25 images were identified correctly when it came to green signal detection. So our next slide is about the next methodology, that is the traffic signal light detection using neural networks. Here in this methodology, the first 5 steps, as you can see, they remain the same. The first 4 are seen here, and the 5th one is here, where we actually extract the region of interest. But what changes is after the extraction of region of interest in the neural network methodology, what we do is after the extraction of region of interest, the next step is we convert the image from RGB to HSV, and we classify image into different classes. We classify each image to a different class to train the neural network, and then we change the number of layers. This step 6 I'm going to explain in the next slide. What classes I'm talking about, I'm going to explain in the next slide. And then after the classification, then we change the number of layers and neurons based on some addition and deletion of neurons and layers, and then then we just outline the results. So for step 6 explanation, what do you mean by classes? So these are class labels which I have in my code. So class 1 is basically images with red signals, class 2 is images with green signals, and class 3 is basically random images. Those are outside class 1 and class 2. So, and basically what I've used here is pattern recognition app and MATLAB for image classification. Again, the input to this app is our feature sets and the class labels, and this is used for training and validation for the testing for the images. So basically this is what we classification of or distribution into classes means. So this is the first experiment that we did. Here the number of layers, as you can see, there's only one layer here, and as you can see there's 20 number of neurons, or we can say 20 number of nodes in this. So the result of this experiment, basically this is the training set, this is the set where we train from, this is the validation set, and this is the test set. So basically 94.9% was success. This is the performance accuracy of the training set. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. This is the validation. So after training, the network validates itself, 75% performance accuracy. This is the test set where the actually test was performed, 87.5% accuracy. And when we call the overall performance, so the overall performance was 90.9% in case where we had one layer and 20 neurons. The next experiment, we had 2 layers, and number of neurons in the first layer was 20, as we can see, and the second layer was 5. And then we'll see what was the result yielded out of it. The training result was 100%, the validation result was 100%, the test result was 87%, and the overall result was 98.2%. So that was pretty good. And our third experiment was similarly, we changed the number of layers. We had 3 layers now, and then all the layers had 10 neurons, or we can say 10 nodes. And the result, the training performance was 94.9%, the validation performance was 87.5%, the test performance was 100%. So overall performance 94.5%, as you can see. So data set used, here we used 55 images, a data set of 55 images, 25 images for red signal, 25 images for green signal, 5 images for random images, just which were not images of red or green signals. So experimental results show that, which we've already discussed, that the first one yields overall 90%, the second one yields 98.2%, the third one yields 94.9%. So conclusion, so the experiment results show that neural network performance and detection is yielding better results as compared to the blob detection methodology. And another conclusion here is number of layers we changed, and then not necessarily the increase in number of layers is yielding a better result, better overall performance. As we've seen, the third point is, as we've seen that layer with 2 layers we are yielding a performance of 98.2, but with 3 layers the overall performance goes down to 94.9. So this is the conclusion of our experiment. I've also attached the MATLAB code in the submission, and we can go and check those out. Here I've given some references to my presentation and my report which I've submitted. So let me run my code here. So I'm gonna quickly open the folder. Let me run for the blob detection. Let's run the red. So this is for detection of red. So let this open. Here is the code for the detection of red signal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this. And it's running right now. So it started running. And then once it's done running all the data set, then we'll compare the images. Here we can see that it's going through the different images in our data set, and it's creating these figures of what the image pipeline is, basically what it's going through the image. So It's going to go through the complete data set. So, and then once it goes through the data sets, and then we're going to evaluate our result. So here you can see that this is the image pipeline. So it has gone through all the data sets, and here you can see this is the original image, and this is the low pass filtered image, which is remove noise. And then we resize, this is the resized image, and then the red signal extracted out of it, and then the extracted region of interest out of the whole picture, and then the decisions made whether it is red or not. So this is basically the whole image pipeline, which I've also showed in my presentation. So now I'm gonna open my neural network and run it and show it to you how it works. So for the neural networks, I'm gonna run my main code. Here's the code, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run this code. And now you can see that it has started training itself. Now we can see how it has started training with the green signals right now. So it'll go with green signals, and then it'll switch to red signals, and then it'll train itself. So here I've opened the neural network code, and you can see that here we can see that the hidden layer size, I've defined 3 layers, one with the 10 nodes or neurons, second with the 10 neurons, third with the 10 neurons. So basically this is the place where we define the number of layers and the number of neurons, and then we run, and this is basically the pattern recognition what you're talking about. And then these are, you can see 3 layers with 10, and then hidden layer 2 with 10, and then hidden layer 3 with 10. So basically this is this concludes my experiment, and then the results I've already discussed in the presentation. So this concludes my presentation, and hopefully you liked it. Thank you. Bye-bye.